All right, hopefully we'll have good things. Welcome to Design Memory Craft, Faber-Castell Design Memory Craft. I'm Jen Matott. I'm here with you tonight to do a mixed media project with you that's encaustic and gelatos and gel medium. And we have a fun giveaway at the end of the night. So stick with us and you could get a chance to win the gel medium and the double scoop gelatos that I'm using tonight. I'm also using some other colors, but these are the ones you're going to have a chance to win. So we have margarita and snow cone, bubblegum, and mango. Yummy. So the gelato. So if you're new with us tonight, this is your first Ustream with Faber-Castell Design Memory Craft, welcome. Like I said, I'm Jen Matott. I'm going to show you my project. I'm going to pan down because you don't really want to see me. You want to see what we're doing. You want to see the artsy stuff. So I'm going to pan down because, I've been sweating all day. So I'm not as pretty as my picture here. So I'm going to put this camera down. And also, don't forget to tweet or if you post on Facebook your projects that you do after this or throughout the presentation tonight, make sure that you do hashtag mixed media at Design Memory Craft. And we will pick a winner for those yummy gelatos. I had everything straight, but now it's all crooked. All right. So this is the project that we're going to work on tonight. I'll hold it up a little closer so you can see the whole thing. And it's a mixed media piece on watercolor paper, a nice thick 100% rag watercolor paper, but you can use any thick paper that you want. This one is from Marco's Paper. It's their aquarelle multimedia paper, I think. So Greg over at Marco's Paper can help you out with that. It's a great quality paper. I love it. So I taped this down to a real rigid board. You want something that's a little bit rigid because this process is going to get wet and we're going to use wax at the end. So, you don't want it buckling. And this paper is great because it doesn't buckle. Hey, Nicole, hope you're feeling better. She's with us tonight. We got some people still signing on. We got lots of people. Welcome, welcome. So exciting. Yep, so make sure you pick like a nice thick watercolor paper if you're going to redo this project. I did it tonight earlier on a drawing paper that's a little thinner, and it did kind of wave. It gives a little wave because I used a lot of water. So you don't want, it's not going to hurt your project, but if you don't want, if it bothers you with all the wrinkles and the ripples, then pick a nice thick watercolor paper. This one is 100% rag, which means it's a cotton rag watercolor paper, which is really good. All right, so now you've seen this. We've used, we're going to use gel medium first, and I'm going to adhere some paper. This is matte paper that came with our mixed media with gelatos kit that I designed, and I just used the whole sheet on here, but you can use any book paper or anything. It would work on, I think it will work on canvas as long as it's stretched. It's a stretched, rigid canvas because otherwise the wax is going to crumble off because I'm putting a couple layers of beeswax on top of this. Yep, you could probably iron it before you do your wax coating so it's nice and straight. Yep. But I keep it taped down, so I'll show you the whole process, okay? So then we're going to go through this step by step, and I'll show you. But these are all gelatos, and I'm using those colors I just showed you, the double scoop colors that are in my bucket here, and plus the new steampunk colors, which we're not giving away tonight. I'm sure there'll be other times, and I'm sure you'll find them in your stores. They're brand new. And I love them. So I'm using some of the darker colors, and the browns and neutral colors and the purples are from the steampunk collection. And this is, we're also going to do a couple gelato techniques to do this background first. Then make sure it's all dry, and then we're going to put some wax over it. So that's the encaustic part. So this is actually wax infused paper now because I've put a couple layers and fused it into the paper. Once that's cool, then I'm going to show you how to do an image transfer. Wax is so cool. It's so awesome because you can do so many things. A lot of stuff will stick to it. So it's a great mixed media material. This one is an image that was a laser copy or a photocopy of a moth, and I image transferred that on. And then this is gold leafing through a stencil, and I'm going to show you how to use one of our tools to create this cool technique, and it just sticks to the wax, so it's pretty cool. So I'll go in depth with that. All right, so right now I've got my beeswax all set. It's all warm and melting. If you've never worked with beeswax or even seen what real beeswax or refined beeswax looks like, this is a hunk of wax. I just took a class at Syracuse University with an awesome professor, Devana. Give me a little shout out there. But she taught me everything I know about encaustics. So in the last couple of years, I've worked with her. But this stuff is awesome. This is really good. Smells so good. This is the beeswax. So, and because the bees are kind of disappearing, it's getting a little more expensive. If you go to a craft store, you can probably find bleached beeswax in a little bitty, little pad, little block, and that works just fine. Or the natural beeswax granules, you can melt those. That works good. Or you could even use paraffin. Paraffin's not so great because it's a petroleum product, but it works similar. It'll give you some similar kind of effects. So just a little bit of a background 101 on wax. But you can buy it at Michael's, Hobby Lobby, anything like that. All right. So mine's melting. I just I can't pan over to show you the wax, but maybe I can drag it over just a little closer. And yeah, it's over here. See, I have this little setup over here. This is my old pancake griddle kind of thing. And then I just emptied, I had tuna fish one day, so that's my tuna fish can. And this I just bought at the dollar store. So you could melt them in either one. And then make sure you use an old brush, a brush you don't care about because you're never going to use it again for anything else. It's never going to be the same. Can't get the wax out. So that's it. All right, so we're gonna go step by step tonight. Ready to go. All right, I'm gonna put this aside. I'll refer back to it later, but set it over here. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do tonight is I've already taped down. See, I'm trying to move this sign so it's not in my way. Okay, I've already taped down my board, and all I used was this. I don't know. 1.5 inch masking tape. Make sure it's good and sticky, that it's going to hold real well, that it's not going to buckle when it gets wet, because that happens with some of the cheaper tapes. But this is what it looks like. Taped down to a masonite board. This is masonite, nice hard board, but you could use any scrap wood or, you could even use a clipboard, like a office clipboard, because that's usually made of masonite, so that works pretty well. All right, so I think this is gonna end up being kind of upside down the way I'm working, but I'll try to turn everything upside down for you. It's gonna be a little weird for me, but we will make it work. And here we go. Okay, so I'm just using some gel medium in my tub, and this one's almost gone. I've used a lot of it. This is a nice sized tub. This has lasted me a while. My gel medium. I use it for everything. Sealing. Right now I'm using it as like a kind of a decoupage kind of thing where it's like a glue. And it's an acrylic base. And since it dries matte, it'll have a matte finish to it. It's not going to interfere with our gelatos or make anything look shiny or anything, so it's perfect for this. So I'm just putting some on the back of my paper that I'm going to adhere down. And this is just, I just had a New York State atlas map, and I'm, ooh, I got to do this right side up. Sorry, I can't work upside down for a minute. All right, so I'm gonna, I just have an atlas that I grabbed it. Somebody was throwing it out. I grabbed it. And then once I get it on there, I'm just using a hotel, like, or a credit card, old one, you know, the ones you get in the mail that you always just want to throw out. Don't throw them out. They work great to smooth. So this will smooth all the air bubbles and make it nice and flat. Okay. And then actually I'm going to put a little coating over the top just to make sure it's good and adhered down so that the water doesn't get underneath it when I'm spraying and dripping and all that. Nice little thing. And you can use a regular paintbrush. I use these foam ones because I can buy them real cheap in a lot of packages. And I don't like to clean them, so I just throw them out at the end. I know it's kind of wasteful, but you know, I have more important things to do than clean foam brushes. So they're like 25 cents or less, 10 cents. So it's worth it to me to just toss them. Move on. All right, so that's got to dry for a second. Done with my foam brush. Done. Okay. So I'm gonna do my little heat gun. I got the quieter heat gun tonight because my other one was so noisy. This one's a little noisy, but not bad. So this stuff dries really quick. Especially if you're putting a nice light layer on, it's going to dry pretty quick. But I'm pretty impatient. I want to move along, and I don't want to have you guys here forever. So I'm going to quick dry it. All right, nice and dry. All right, not sticky? Good. All right, so now we're going to move on to the gelatos. The gelatos, they are, I can get rid of I'll put my gel medium over here. I just have so much fun just laying down color, and then I can spray it, I can make it, you know, drip, and there's so much I can do with this. So I am going to start with just my lightest color, which is the Margarita. Ooh. Got it? No, it's not focusing. Sorry. I don't know. It won't focus on there. But I'm just going to add a little color. So right now I'm just kind of scribbling it on there lightly. And it's so creamy. It's kind of like a chapstick if you haven't used them yet. They're just so awesome. They're so creamy and yummy. And then I am going to spray that a little bit, get a little water on there, and use a big brush to kind of spread it around a little. And right now this is my first layer, so I'm not going to be too careful about where I put it. I'm just going to give it a little coating. I'm leaving this middle part white, kind of like gives it a little glow effect. So right now I'm just doing this. Then I'm going to spray it a little more and blend those edges a little. And when I spray it, it kind of runs and puddles, and yeah, it's going to look really cool when it's done. So I'm going to work in multiple layers here. So while it's wet, I'm going to add a little more. This time I'm going to use the mango. These are really fun summery colors. I'm going to darken up some areas too because I want a little more of a natural look too. But for this, I'm just going to add some mango up here. And it's with the wet part. Just get it all layered up there. So you don't have to be an art trained person to do this. It totally is just slap it on there. Get it on there, let it go where it wants to go, It's a lot of fun. These, you know, if you mix the right colors, it's going to give you a really beautiful effect no matter what. All right. Now, I'm going to add a little cinnamon. Cinnamon is from the Steampunk line. This one doesn't come in a double scoop yet, but it's in the Steampunk kit, or set, I should say. Set, not kit. Maybe we'll have a kit with it. I don't know. And I'm just layering this one a little more heavily at the top because I'm going to let this drip with the mango together. Now, see how it gets all like smooshed in there? They're all mixed. It doesn't matter. You just wipe it right off. No big deal. And you can even do this wet. My paper is wet and I'm coloring right while it's wet, and it doesn't hurt you at all. Not a problem. All right. I think I'm going to do the drips now. So I am going to tilt it, and I'm going to spray a little more water at the top here. And then I'm going to take my brush, and I'm going to kind of push some of this around so it kind of loosens up off the surface and let it drip. I may need to add a little more if it kind of bunches up. But I'm letting it drip down the page. Yeah, see, it's not enough. I need more. See, ooh, I like that effect. That's pretty. This is just what I do. I just keep playing. Just keep mixing, keep playing. Adding some water at the top and letting it drip down. If it starts dripping too fast, don't tilt as much. Just bring it down a little bit. I feel like Bob Ross. Kind of, you know Bob Ross, the guy with the big hair, the artist, happy little trees. All right, so this is a good start. It's a good background start. So I'm going to start drying this a little bit because I don't want it to run anymore. I want to add some more colors, but I don't want them all to run together. So you want to like kind of dry them in between. Now, I was making my first one out in the sun. I was sitting outside doing it. So if you don't have a heat gun, that's perfect. Go outside and lay it in the sun and let it dry. And you go do your dishes or do the laundry or check on the kids or do whatever, and it should be dry in no time. But I have to use a heat gun inside, obviously. So, ooh, see that effect? That's so pretty. That's where I spritzed, and it kind of ran with the water. Yeah, if you get mud, it's probably one of two things. One, you have too many colors and too wet a surface, and it's all running together. Or you're using colors that are opposite on the color wheel, complementary colors, like purple and yellow, or orange and blues, or reds and greens, some kind of reds or pinkish with greens. If you use opposite colors, you're going to get mud. But you can use opposite colors if you do one and dry it, and then do the next on top of it. Because once this is dry on here, it's not going to reactivate. Usually, it's not going, unless it's a huge thick puddle. It might a little bit, but you're not gonna have the run together mud making if you dry in between each layer. So that's just a hint, a tip. Perfect drippage? Oh, you know, it's whatever. Nothing's perfect. If it's not dripping enough, you need a little more water. That's all. Sometimes you got to find the right size brush too. I find a good size brush and the right amount of water makes me happy. Alright, see, I used a lot of water in the middle here. It's really wet back here. Alright, so I'm ready for my next layer. So now my next layer is, I'm going to be adding a little more, I'm going to add some bubble gum in the corner down here. So I'm going to start building up some of these areas. And this one I want more pink. Now it's not going to turn out this bright pink. Not be as bright. Now, if I did this while the yellow was wet or the margarita was wet, it would mix and I'd have really, I'd have more orange. And it does look kind of orangey on my computer, but it's pink. So I'm adding that. Maybe I'll put a little up here. And then I'm going to add, let's see, we have cinnamon. I think I need a little more cinnamon at the bottom. Down here, mix it with the bubble gum. That'll soften. More neutrals will neutralize your color. So if it's too bright, add a little neutral like browns, grays. They'll add a little, make it a little more neutral color. Tone it down. You'll get tones. All right, see how I'm just scribbling? I'm just scribbling. That's all I'm doing. Just scribbling, having fun, like my kids. My kids taught me this. Okay, and this is, this is one of my new favorites. This is iced coffee. Oh, I love it. It's a metallic brown, and it's in the steampunk set, and it is the creamiest, beautiful metallic brown. I love it. So I'm adding that at the top along the tape line. It's kind of like I'm just shading in, making a little frame kind of thing happening here. And yep, at the bottom. Darken up your corners. That draws your eye into the middle. All right. And the purple, where did it go? Oh, this one's another favorite. Black cherry is one of our new ones from the steampunk line. So that is going on here. This one is, this is such a beautiful purple. This again is has shimmer to it. And it's a deep, deep purple. Lot deeper than our grape color, which makes it very rich. Okay, so I may have to, reapply a little bit because I think I got a little carried away, but I'm going to spritz. Oops, got to tilt a little. Let this drip down a little. Oh yeah, you got to have that. Alright, so I'm dripping. I'm trying not to tilt it too much because I don't want to get rid of all this color and drip it down, but I just want some of it. See how it's dripping now? Alright. Oh, look at this purple. This purple makes me so happy. It's just so delicious. Alright, let's get this bubble gum going here. It's like you're a kid again, I mean, this is why I'm an art teacher. I just love how kids paint. They just paint to have fun. They love seeing colors mix, and I think we all do. So it's just it's a lot of fun. Spray some water and see what happens because it does fan out when it's already wet and you add more water. It's like a river. It flows, does crazy things. This purple does crazy things when it gets wet. It's just awesome. It's black, dark, what was it? What's it called? Black cherry. The black cherry. It's just nice. And the more water you add, it's going to lighten it up a little bit. So, I'm kind of getting happy with this. Let's flip it a little this way. All right, so now I'm capturing some of those crazy running things happening because I'm going to dry them right where they are. This is the part that takes the longest. I'm not very patient with this drying business. Add a little more here. Love how it puddles. And then when it dries, it keeps those edges. I love it. You can tell I just have so much fun doing this. You know, if I had superpowers, at my superpower, I would want things dry quickly. Like, I could just look at it and say dry, and it'd be dry. Yeah, the black cherries and the steampunk. Steampunk comes with iced chai, which is another metallic. Iced coffee, which is a metallic. The black cherry, which I don't believe is metallic, but it kind of, I don't know, has a little, maybe it's just because it mixed with the iced coffee. But you can mix them all and make them metallic. And then, what's the other one? Cinnamon. Cinnamon is the other one. Oh, you need it, Carol. You do need it. I love my steampunk line. Oh, so gorgeous. All right, we're getting there. We're almost dry. Hang in with me. Hang here. Don't leave me. I'm getting there. I've got a big puddle right here. It's taking a while. Just look that way. Can you see what's happening here? So these colors are really like, they're just radiant. It's like radiating. I want it to be kind of summery, but yeah. Yeah, now I want to go to Starbucks. Jeez. Yeah, these are, oh, they were awesome on a journal cover. I do blot with a paper towel, but I don't want to like get rid of my color. When I blot, it takes it off. So, I mean, I guess I could keep layering, but just drying it, it'll be all right. It's not going to take too long. I'm blotting the edges though, because it's all on the tape, and I don't need it there, and I'm not drying it there. I'm just going to wipe off the wet edges. Alright, we got a few wet spots, but we're almost done. I'm going to do one more thing with the gelatos before I move on and start covering with the wax, which won't take long because the wax is, I think that's why I love working wax, because it's not like you have to wait for it to dry. It's so quick. It just cools very fast. Sometimes almost too fast. Like you're almost like, oh, come on, I just want to spread it. Still a little wet. Come on. I think I need to tilt it. I'm having a hard time seeing. There we go. All right, so we got a question. What is your favorite gelato's color? Go. Oh, blood orange is my, yeah, I love the blood orange. And I think my favorite is the snow cone, which I'm going to use next. And I'm going to add a little something that I didn't add in my original. Oh, the bubblegum. Bubblegum is so cool. It's so bright. I love it. Such a pretty pink, and I'm not a pink girl. Yeah, that black cherry. Oh, gorgeous. All right. I'm going to blot the ones that, yeah, I'm going to use your suggestion. Just taking too long. All right, I'll dry. Okay, so I am going to add a little snow cone and a little of the iced chai. I hope I'm saying that right, iced chai. I don't drink chai, but Okay, so in the Gelato's tool set, this is what the tool set looks like. There's a lot of tools, and I use my tools a lot. So it has the palette knife. This is what I use with the whip spackle. This is kind of like a blending chisel, so you can blend colors, almost like a pastel effect, or draw in them. We're going to use this tool in a little bit. It's kind of a stipple brush, and two daubers with foam, like foam tips, and then this drip dropper thing. I'm going to use the foam dauber for right now, and I'm going to color on my non-stick mat a little bit. So I'm just adding a little snow cone, and I'm going to use the dauber to pick up the snow cone. And now I'm going to use, yeah, I think I'll use the dots like I was using with the, I'm going to use this later too, but I think I'm going to add a little bit of the snow cone to make dots through a stencil. You could use any stencil, but I just want a little bit here and there, real soft. Yeah, a little more. And then I think I'm going to add some ice chai too, just to peek through the gold leafing when I put that on. So now I've got some dots in there. Can you see that? So you can use this foam dauber to add a little bit of nice color through a stencil. This is sequin waste. You could probably find it at like a ribbon store or something, or order it online. Alright, so I think I need more. So I'm going to add a little more because I love this color. This is a nice color. Oh, it is mine. Oh, did you hear my husband? He yawned in the other room. Yes, it's our 14th anniversary today. And here I am broadcasting. He just got back from karate, so we're real exciting people. We're going to do something this weekend. Alright, so now I'm going to add a little bit of that ice chai. Same way, I'm going to do the same thing, but this one's more metallic, so it's got a little more shimmer to it. I'm just using the same dauber. You'd probably want to use a different one, but for the sake of tonight, I'm not going to switch them out. Ooh, that's pretty. And it's kind of a brownish, light, like a tan color when it comes out when you do this technique. I go through my daubers quite quickly. I really kind of use them not so nice. Oh, that looks nice though. Yeah. See, did a little bit over here, a little bit here, and then we'll add some gold leafing later in a little bit. All right, we are moving along, people. We are ready for the wax. Dun, dun, dun. As my kids would say. All right, so this is kind of like a little process here. We're going to use the heat gun to fuse it because you want to fuse it to the paper. What I'm essentially doing is kind of saturating the paper with the wax, and it creates. You'd use wax for a couple of reasons. One, because it looks cool, and you can do a lot of techniques with the wax on top. And two, it protects your surface. Beeswax is a natural sealant, protectant, so beeswax will seal your surface and create this beautiful, glowy type of look to it. So I'm using a real thick, fat brush for this process, and I'm actually going to move this over a little closer to the wax. I don't know if I can move you closer too, because otherwise I'll drip all over myself, and that hurts. I like, going to the salon and having my feet dipped in wax, but I don't want my whole legs done. All right, so you want nice You want to heat your wax on a griddle that you're not going to use again. You do not want to cook on it after you've used the wax on there. So, you know, you can go to the thrift shop and find one that's kind of trashed looking. Or if you get a new one, keep your old one and use it for just wax. But you want to heat it, if you have a temperature gauge on there, you want to heat your wax no more than 200 degrees. Definitely under 200 degrees. I heat it up fast. If it smokes a little bit, if there's any wax on the griddle, it'll smoke. Just make sure you ventilate well, but turn it down so it's not so hot. Okay? And it'll stop. So you're going to do nice brush strokes across. You want to go quickly across, and it's not hurting my gelatos. It's not going to pull it or damage the gelatos that I put down. All right, and it dries really quickly. So right now I've got a nice warm layer, and I'm going to go the opposite direction. So you're working back and forth, and I'm just going to put a couple layers on. I'm not making this real thick. If I was doing one of my encaustic paintings, I would, but this one is just more of an infused surface. So it kind of is, I don't know if you can see, it kind of gives it a little haze while it's warm. So you can see it right here. Nice, kind of hazy. So I'm going to even out the surface because it does puddle in some places where it gets more saturated, and I'm just going to fuse this with the heat gun. So when you fuse it, you are just going to move your heat gun around. Oh yeah, you could use a melting pot. You know, like that little melting pot that you mix, that you use embossing powder in. Yeah, you could totally do that. Yep. Or a little crock pot, one of those little lunch crock pots. Yeah, that would totally work. If that's all, if you're only going to use that one, you know, just the plain color. If you want lots of colors, then you want a surface you can melt more than one tin on. So you're just going to kind of move it around, and you're heating it till it gets kind of liquidy but not drippy. And what happens is it's going to get rid of all the brush strokes and bubbles that are under the surface and make a nice, even, smooth surface. And it's going to bond it to the paper this way too. So this is called fusing. Yeah, a spray fixative would totally work. You could even brush the gel medium over your entire gelato artwork, and that would seal it too. This is just a different technique. You don't need to use wax. I just love using wax. This is just a fun alternative way to do this. And I'll show you in a minute what you can do with the wax that you can't do on other surfaces. Okay, so essentially right now I've just reheated everything and kind of melting it so it's all even, and I can see there's a couple spots that are needing a little more wax. If you get too much, like right here it's puddling, it's like it's popping up a little here because it was wet. And it's puddling here. If it gets too thick and it's hard to see through it, I just scrape it with the side of my palette knife and then just put it right back in the wax bucket and just scrape it down even. Because sometimes, you know, your surface may not be completely flat, and that's okay. So we're just evening it out a little. And then I'm going to add one more layer of the wax just to cover up some of the spots that are not covered. This spot right here is sticking up, so it's a little... Alright, and then I'm going to fuse that. So actually what I'm showing you is encaustic. We're doing some encaustic with painting with melted wax. Except I'm just painting the wax over here, I'm not painting with the wax as much as I would with other things. Alright, now I'm going to let that cool for a second. It doesn't take long. It's looking good. And we'll add our image. Now, for this one, well, my first one I did a moth, but I'm going to let you guys decide. I have hot air balloons, or I have a butterfly left. So which one would you think would look really awesome on this artwork? I'm going to let you choose. What do you think? We've got, I could put a couple hot air balloons or one hot air balloon. Ooh, we got butterfly, balloon. All right, we got more people saying balloons, so I'm going to go with the balloons. Should I do, let's see. I'm going to see, maybe I'll do a couple. I think I'm going to do two of the, no, I think I'm going to do one of each. Oh yeah, that looks good. Two balloons. Okay, we got it. All right, so I got to let this cool just a little more. Just going to neaten up the edges while I'm waiting for it to cool. You don't have to do this. I'm just doing it because I'm taking time. And I'm going to peel the tape off when I'm all done. And you'll see what it looks like. What time is it? Ooh, we're doing good. I think we'll be done right at around 10. All right. So the next step, we've got 2 more steps and then we're done. And we're going to be adding these 2 images to the surface. Now, if you were going to do an image transfer without wax, you would need to use a surface, first of all, that is not water soluble, that isn't gonna rip or tear away when you're removing the pulp. And you could use the gel medium, which I think I've done on in some tutorials before. But when you do this on wax, it's super easy. You just put it on there, you have to burnish, and then you rub it off with water. You don't have to wait for anything to dry. You don't have to, you don't have to worry about anything. It sticks, the ink sticks to the wax. So the only thing I have to worry about right now is I don't want the wax too soft, because if I try to burnish with very soft wax, it just digs into the wax. So, are we freezing? So far I'm not going to say it. Not going to say it because I'll jinx it. Yeah, it's kind of frustrating. This will be recorded, yes. It'll be recorded, hopefully. I say that, but last time I tried to do that, it didn't record for some reason. So I see it recording right now. I'm hoping when I stop record, it will be fine. I can put on the blog. I can do a blog post for NACO, or we can put it on Facebook, the supply list, if you want. Sure. It dries translucent. The more layers you put on, the more hazy you will get. So you could do actually like a layer and then put more wax on top and then another layer and more wax on top, and it would make things look like they're going back into the background. So it really has a lot of depth to it. But you can see it's cooled. The only part that's a little hazy is where it's a little thicker right here, and it's not quite completely cool yet. But all the cool spots are nice and translucent. Transparent. Yes. Okay, so I'm going to put, let's see, I want the big one down here and the smaller one up here. Like that. So I'm putting them face down, okay, because you want the ink to make contact with the wax, okay? And you can use a burnishing tool. My bone folder has disappeared. I think it's in with my encaustic supplies, but I'm just going to use the side of the palette knife because that works just fine. The key to doing a good image transfer is the burnishing. You want to burnish and get all the edges and make sure that you rub over the whole image. You want good contact. If there's any air bubbles, that part won't transfer and you will have a big blank area. So you want to make sure that you burnish really well. You can use the back of a spoon. Also just, yeah, it gives it a nice warmer feel to it, warmer age. I mean, especially if you use the natural beeswax, it's more yellow. So you'll have a nice yellow glow look to the paper. If you want a completely clear, use the paraffin. It's the paraffin is petroleum based, so it smells more, but it's what they use in the candle wax type of thing, so it's going to be more clear, a more clear thing, and it's cheaper. The ink is a laser copy or a photocopy. Okay, photocopy. Don't use inkjet because it'll just run everywhere. But yeah, you want to use a laser copy. Photocopy, you can use newspaper to transfer. Magazine, you could do a color. Laser copy will work. Inkjet will not work. Nope, inkjet won't work. And the packing tape transfers are similar. They're similar because the ink transfers to the tape. And then you get rid of all the white pulp of the paper. So it's similar technique. This one is just a little different. It's adhering to the wax, and then we're going to rub away all the pulp, and you'll see the image. The cool thing about the wax is if you get any of that fuzzy, any of the pulp, sometimes when you do image transfers, it kind of leaves behind this fuzzy white, if you don't get it all off and you're afraid to keep rubbing because you're going to rub away everything, you can heat it up a little and it just melts right into the wax. So you don't get that hazy, fuzzy, annoying pulp thing happening. So I'll show you that. That's why I like doing this on the wax. So right now I'm just burnishing really well, making sure I get all the corners and edges and inside. I want good contact. That's the key. That's the key to a good transfer. Even if you do it with gel medium or packing tape, the key. Okay, now, usually with a gel medium you have to let this dry. For this you don't have to. So what I'm going to do is spray it with water. Okay, and then I'm just going to kind of give my finger, kind of get all that pulp wet. And I'm just going to take my finger and I'm rubbing in a circle. The wax does not need to be warm. Nope, doesn't need to be warm. It makes it a little easier to burnish, but doesn't need to be warm. Just has to have wax. So now you can see, oh, look what's happening. Yep, see, I didn't burnish quite well on that side, so it's kind of coming away. That's okay. They'll just look vintagey looking. So you want to make sure it keeps getting wet. Usually I do this by the sink so I can keep using water. But a spray bottle works great. And you're just using your finger. And you get all this pulp stuff. This is all the pulp, all the paper. Yeah, see? I just put it off here. Use my napkin to wipe it away. And just keep it wet and keep rubbing. Uh-oh, what'd she say? Oh, yeah, we don't even know. I want to know. They are a tease. They just get us all excited, ready when they get it all released. All right, the cool thing, see, look at, oh, the matte paper is showing through. I don't know if you can see it. I'm going to hold it up. Can you see that? Oh, let me turn it around, upside down. Sorry. Look at that. It's showing through. So what happens is the ink transfers, and when photocopies are made, or when an image is made using white, it's the white of the paper. There's no white ink in a printer. So anything that's white is going to be transparent because it's the pulp, and once you get rid of the pulp, there's nothing there. So you get to see what's underneath, and so that's pretty neat. Pretty cool. So this is one of my favorite techniques. I love image transfers. I just think they're fun. It's a fun way to add a bold image. And in wax, I could do multiple layers of image transfers. I could brush on more wax and add more layers so it looked like there'd be more hot air balloons and they see through each other. Pretty neat. Okay, so I'm almost done with the first one. Real easy. You almost can't rub too much on wax. It just grabs on. It's real great. With the gel medium, you got to be careful because you could rub away a little too much ink if you rub whatever the surface is. All right, so that's pretty good. I think I got mostly that off. Okay, so we're going to do this one real quick, and then we're going to do our final thing, and we'll be done with this project, and we'll get a winner. Oh, mixed media. Yes, so after burnishing, you spray water on it. Make sure you burnish really well, because if you don't have good contact, you won't see your image. It'll just go away when you rub. Alright, and now I just rubbed away all the pulp, or the most I can rub off. It's squeaky too, because the wax is squeaky. Squeak, squeak. Sorry. Kind of annoying. Alright, so now I've rubbed as much as my fingers will let me rub, and I'm going to just wipe this away. Now, when it dries, it may have this hazy film on it because some of the pulp might still be, the fibers might still be there. Let me see if I can dry it to show you. I might have done such a good job that it doesn't. Alright, starting to, right here. You can see, if I hold it way up here, can you see? Oh, no, you can't. Alright, see how there's like this white film right here? That's pulp fibers that didn't get rubbed away. That I can't get much more out of there. So with the wax, the cool thing is you can heat it up a little bit. You don't want to heat too much because then the ink kind of, the image starts breaking apart because of the flowing wax. But if you just heat it up just so it's a little shiny, not wicked shiny, just a little bit, you'll see the black get bolder. That's heating it, and it's embedding any leftover fibers in the wax, and you won't see that white film anymore. Pretty neato. It just leaves you a nice, perfect image. I'm just heating it till it gets a little darker, and that means all the pulp is getting absorbed into the wax, embedded in there. And now I've got my two images. See, it's a little shiny where I just heated it. It'll calm down in a minute, but a nice image transfer. Okay. I got all this yummy pulp over here. Yuck. Ew. Wet pulp. All right. Come on, focus. My camera's being stubborn. Can you focus? Okay, so you can see where everything is now and how. There we go. I'm ready for the gilding, for gold leafing. Okay, just like the image transfer, the gold leafing will stick to the surface of the wax. Now I'm using just composition gold leaf, which is basically a cheap version of gold leafing. And I got mine at an art supply store locally, so I don't even know if there's a brand name or anything for this, but I'm sure you can find gold leafing in a craft store too. Alright, so this is what gold leafing looks like. Usually you'd want to handle it with hands that are clean and dry, but for this process I'm not worried too much. I'm just going to stick it right onto my stencil. I'm just putting some on here where I want it to stick. And it should stick. Ooh, I think my thumb is very sticky. Something's on there. Maybe some leftover gel medium or something. Okay. And where else do I want to put it? Maybe over here. Alright, now I'm going to use the stipple brush from our toolkit, and you're going to just pounce it. So I'm just taking the gold leaf and I'm pouncing it onto the wax through my stencil using the stipple brush. And this is going to really kind of get good contact with the wax, and hopefully it'll stick to wax and it'll flake off where it's not contacting the wax, where the wax isn't doing that. And you can just kind of rub it away with your fingers, all the leftover wax that kind of sticks to you, and just smooth it on there. Okay, so I'm just pouncing with the stipple brush. The stipple brush is perfect for this. And you can make splatters with the stipple brush and all sorts of fun things that go with this brush. But this is one way to apply gold leafing. And then just rub with your fingers to have all the extra get away. And if there's any areas that need a little more, stick them on there. Rub. So I'm just pouncing with the stipple brush and rubbing with my fingers. That's it. Not sticking to my fingers, sorry. Guess I got sticky fingers tonight. Alright, I'm going to peel this off. Ta-da! And there's the gold leafing. And it sticks to the, no adhesive needed. No adhesive needed. You don't even need, if you had some gold leafing comes with a like a sealant, because the gold will, or whatever this is made of, it's probably not gold, it's whatever the cheap version is, will tarnish. So you can seal it over top of this. But this is it. Or, yeah, that's it. We're done. It's done. Our masterpiece is done. So if you have any other questions, yeah, flat bling. Who said flat bling? I love that. Yep, it is. It's really easy. This is an pretty easy project to complete once you know the steps. And I will put a material list and a link to our recorded step-by-step tonight. And then I'll link it. I think we'll put it on, I don't know, Nico will have to tell me where she wants me to put that. And then we'll let you know where it is for next time. And that way you can refer back. I'm just answering some questions. No, I would not put more wax over gold leafing, only because it does dull it. You know, it's going to cover it. And so I leave that for last. The gold leafing is like the top, the crown of the project. It is. You want it to be your final touch. All right. Well, I had so much fun with you guys. I'm spending my anniversary with you. And actually, I'm going to go sit with my husband now. But if you have any other questions, we can answer those. Thanks. Thanks, guys. I'm glad you liked it. I love this project. It was so much fun. I love encaustics, and I love gelatos, and I love any mixed media stuff, so that's easy for me. All right, so here's what it looks like without the tape. Look how pretty. So you could frame it and hang it on a wall. It's pretty. I think I might, yes. I'm going to put it, I think I'm going to hang this one in my art room at school. This one's going to go in my art room at school. Oh yeah, it could be his present. Yeah, he wouldn't care. It's okay. If it had a golfer on it, he would like that. But all right, so you see, to enter our giveaway, you need to use the hashtag mixed media. Yep, and or comment on our blog. Go make a comment on our blog, and I think you can post. You could do the hashtag mixed media with a Facebook post or a Twitter post. Just tell us how we did tonight, and then winners will be announced on Twitter and our blog tomorrow. All right. I am going to stop recording now. Hopefully it recorded. Let's cross our fingers. I'm going to say goodnight to everybody. Good night, everybody. Thank you very much. This was fun. And I hope you'll come back and rewatch it and make your own. Please post your projects. If you do one, post it on our Facebook page. I'd love to see what you do. And I'll make sure I check back. And you can put the hashtag mixed media design. This is at Design Memory Craft. All right. Thank you. You guys make me feel so good. Thank you so much. All right. I'll see you later. Bye. Until next time.